movement is life, and the more you move, the better your quality of life into your 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Welcome to the Dr. Fit Jen Show, where we teach ordinary people how to do extraordinary things. We're going to talk about fitness and food, family, finances, faith, and fun. Welcome to life.
Here we go, Dr. Fit Jen coming at you from the Pain Cave. I have my Fit Jen gym hair going on today because ain't nobody got time for looking good right now. Just saying. Right. Okay, but this is as good as it gets. So I want to come at you today with my top 5 performance hacks. I'm going to be honest with you. It's really hard to whittle down to 5. But, you know, opportunity comes to those that are not lucky. Opportunity comes to those that are prepared. And I have found more and more times in my life, the better I was prepared at all the little things in every aspect of my day, the more those opportunities came. So I want to share that with you. If you're not doing any of these, hopefully you're doing some of them, but write this down and just start following it. Just start doing it. You may be like, hey, I don't do any of that, or I've never done any of that, or I can't even figure out how to do these things. Well, I'm going to tell you, just start doing it. Like, you may not have it down perfect, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. And the better you get at it, the more habit it becomes. And then you don't have to really even think about it anymore. So here we go. I'm going to jump into this with number 1. So my top 5 performance hacks of the day. Number 1 actually starts the night before. So for a great day, start at the night before. So what does that mean? Well, I want to be prepared going into my day. I don't want to wake up reacting to everything that comes at me. I want to be proactive and have a plan. So how does that go into the night before? What do I do to help me to be able to do that? Well, I'm going to think about what I have going on that day. First thing, the easiest thing that I can do is lay out my clothes. I know that I've got to go to the gym. So I need to lay out my workout clothes. I know if my days vary, so not every day is the same schedule after schedule. So I really have to be cognizant of what's going on that day. Sometimes I work out in a different city. I'm in a different town. So I lay out my clothes. Maybe I'm going to the office that day. I'm going to lay out my clothes for the office. Often I will do a second workout or another workout over lunch. So that means I've got to lay out 2 outfits, meaning that I also need to have 2 pairs of socks and 2 pairs of underwear. I need to have my brush, all that goes into, because nothing worse than not finding your socks when you're ready to work out. So so I'm going to lay out my clothes for whatever I have going on that day, from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed. What am I going to need? Okay. I want to also prepare and organize what I'm going to be eating. Okay. I don't think many people really pay attention to this, and that's why we're all fat, to be honest. We don't put any thought into what we're eating. It's just like, hey, I'm hungry. Ooh, I'm going to stop by the drive-thru. I'm going to swing by Mickey D's or Wendy's or whatever because it's close by, it's convenient, but it doesn't do you any bit of good when you're going at it that approach. So I'm going to make sure that, okay, I've got my pre-breakfast, I've got my breakfast, I've got my snack, I've got my lunch, I've got my snack, and I know what I'm doing for supper. Most of the time, once I leave the house, I'm not back until evening, because I work. My office is not quite half an hour, but about 25 minutes away. Very rarely am I going to come home, during the day. So I want to make sure I'm prepared and I've got everything with me. What do I need to do? Does that mean I need to pack a cooler? Sometimes, yes. The easiest thing that I did is I said, you know what? I'm here all the time. I'm going to get a small refrigerator. So I've got foods that I need. I don't always have to carry a snack, or I'll buy things in bulk and keep them there at my office so I just can prepare them. Or I might take my meal from the night before and I whittle it down into, leftovers that I can just pull out and take with me in the morning. So the day always starts the night before. I'm going to also think about my beverages. I have, a big, you see that? I have a big water container. I have my minerals and my electrolytes that go into that. I'm going to make sure that I am hydrating throughout the day. What else might I need? Whether it's my adrenal cocktail, my orange juice, my coconut water, my salt. I usually try to do that in the morning before I go to the office. I'll hit the gym, then I come back. I get my daughter ready for school. I take her to school. Usually during that time, I'll hit my adrenal cocktail, so I don't have to take my orange juice and everything. But whatever works for you, whatever your schedule is, those are things that you want to think about, okay? The other thing, one of the very, very, very important things about the night before is getting my mindset ready and getting my nighttime routine down. Going to bed early. I find that if I do not set limits, my bedtime gets later and later and later. And if we sit down and watch TV, that also gets later and later and later. So very rarely does our family actually even watch TV. We'll do other things. We actually, as a family, will often read at night. We'll read several Bible verses or I can't think of the word. I've drawn a blank. Seriously, something where you read and you contemplate on the verse. You know what I'm talking about. But anyways, we'll do something constructive as a family. We do that together. That gets our mindset ready for the next day, not filling it with junk from the world around us, whether it's news or even, dumb movies or whatever. They all have their place. They all have their time. There is a time to Netflix and chill. Maybe on the weekend, we like to do something fun or just that doesn't require any brain power. But as a rule, we don't do that on the weeknights because it just gets later and later, and it certainly doesn't doesn't get me in the right mindset for the next day. And I'm going to tell you that, if you're like, well, you know what, I just go to work the next day. I don't do anything crazy. Well, in everything that you do it unto the Lord, as for man, or as for the Lord and not to men. And so, I take that verse to heart. I learned very on, whether you're taking out the trash, whether you don't even know, what you want to do, whether you're behind a counter serving out, French fries, whatever it is, do it to the best of your ability. That's where those opportunities come. So even if it's a mundane task or a mundane position that you feel like you're at in your life right now, everything that you do to excellence just prepares you for that next step to be greater for when God opens up that position or that opportunity for you, because he sees your excellence and he sees that you take responsibility. And so often he will say, here is more. I can give you responsibility with more. So we go to bed early and just with the right mindset. Okay. Focus on the right things, not the wrong. So that's my hack number 1. Start your day the night before. Number 2, wake up, pray up. I think of this story when my grandpa, when I grew up, always had a fish tank, and he always lots of fish. And every time, we go in and we tap on the window, watch them squirm all around. We love to feed them. So, you get the little fish flakes and you put it on the top, and then it's like, manna from heaven. My grandpa made that fish tank. He set everything in it. He put those fish in there. He feeds them every day. And yet those fish have no clue. They do not know that they are alive because of him. No recognition to the person that put them there to begin with. And I feel like many of us on this earth walk around not understanding that we have a creator and that he provides for us. And I don't want to go one moment without his acknowledgement and without his guidance and without his provision in my life. So the first thing I'm going to do, I get out of bed, my knees hit the floor, wake up, pray up. The next thing, I'm a multitasker. Before my knees get up off the floor, I'm reaching for my covers to pull them over and make my bed. Conquer the morning, you can conquer the day. You've probably heard that before, but it's so true. So make the bed. It just makes you feel better. It makes you feel more prepared for that day. It literally takes seconds to do. If my husband is still in bed, I will make up my side. I'll even kind of like throw the covers over him a little bit so that way when he gets out, he's got to do the same thing. But conquer the morning, conquer the day. Wake up, pray up. Okay. Let's see. What else? I don't have to spend a whole lot of time getting ready because I've already done that the night before. So there are mornings that I will get up early. I'll hit the gym, come back and get my daughter for school. There are other mornings that I'll take her to school. I can go a little bit later, meet at the gym. It just depends. Every day is slightly different, but I know what's entailed, so I'm going to be ready for it. Okay, wake up, pray up. Can't emphasize that enough. Okay. Every day, you could have the best day and then the next morning is completely different. Okay. Every morning we have to give it up. If we think, oh, this food is great, it's coming out of the sky, it must be something I'm doing. Oh, I'm just going to swim along here with no obligation and no, reverence to the person that put me here. Well, good luck is all I'm saying. Okay. I said I normally go to the gym. I do. So hack number 3 is get moving. Okay. I could go through, I don't want to bore you unless you are a knowledge person. There's like 4 types of people. There's nurturers, there's blueprint people, there's action people, and there's knowledge people. So knowledge people always want to hear like the science. I can tell you study after study of how movement is life. In neurology, if you don't have movement, if your nerve system isn't working, you're dying. Okay, you're dying early. Movement is so much life, and it's so very important the older that you get, which is ironic because typically people stop moving after they get out of school or, middle school, high school. It's like, oh, I don't need to play sports anymore. So I'm like, they're literally done. And people just, crawl into their graves. So my sister and in-law and my sister-in-law is my training partner in the gym. It works out well because she's my sister-in-law, but she's also my best friend. We had the privilege to compete this last weekend in what's called the Masters Fitness Collective in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Super cool competition, national competition. I love it because, all these people come from all over the country to compete against one another. And one of the coolest things that I saw that whole weekend, besides our first place, wink, wink, was that we saw an 83-year-old man out there competing. And I will tell you, there were 7 workouts in 3 days. And this 83-year-old man did all of those workouts. When it came time for podium, we also saw a group of women in their 70s, first, second, and third in their 70s in their age group. It was so incredible to watch. Here's the thing. Movement is life, and the more you move, the better your quality of life into your 70s, 80s, and 90s. And if I can emphasize that to somebody who's in their 20s and 30s, like, keep going. I think by the time you're in your 40s, it's very apparent, those who take care of themselves and those who don't, right? Like, so, like when I actually have never been to my class reunion, but I did go to my husband's once, and I was looking, because my husband's a pretty fit guy and he takes good care of himself. And I'm looking at these other people that he graduated with that are in their 40s, and I'm thinking, holy cow, they're the same age as you. They look ancient. What the heck, And it literally comes down to how well are you taking care of yourself? Are you moving? Are you fueling? Are you recovering adequately? Are you taking care for the health and life that you're given? And it's very, very apparent. You can see that, in people of the same age, especially once they get in like their 40s and 50s. So, movement is life. We tend to start losing bone density. We start losing muscle mass in the 40s and 50s. And it's really not because, people are like, I'm getting fat, I'm gaining weight. It's really because you stop moving. Okay. And by the time you're in your 40s, because you've eaten like junk for the last, probably 3 or 4 decades, really, your body starts leaching these minerals out of your bones. And so, people get arthritis and osteoporosis and all these things because it's trying to gather what minerals it can, because they haven't been supplied throughout the lifetime. And eventually it runs out of material. So fuel that material, fuel your muscles, fuel your life with movement and nutrition. Okay. Work hard now. Work hard every day. It makes life easier. I don't know how that makes sense, but it totally does. Work hard now to make life easier. And it comes in the gym. When you're working at all things you do at a level of excellence. Okay. So number 1, start the night before. Number 2, wake up, pray up. Number 3, get moving. Number 4, fuel up. Okay. I cannot have time to have brain fog, to have fatigue, to not have a good day. My day is scheduled out. Okay. Yes, I schedule in the fun. Well, okay, everything I do, honestly, I love. I think is so fun. I want to have energy for the gym. I have to have energy for the gym if I want to continue to improve, and I want to continue, to compete and, Lord willing, win at times. I can't do that on a crappy diet. Okay. I have to have energy for the patients that I serve when I'm in the clinic, serving, working, all day long on my feet. I'm moving. I have to have energy for that. I have to have energy for my family. I don't want to give them the leftovers when I get home. I want to be engaged. I want to be able to do the things that they want to do. And whenever I schedule in, the things that my recreation time or even my learning time, when I am riding my horses, that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of not only energy, but also mental energy, I guess, if you call it that, capacity, because we're not just riding on a trail ride. We're actually training and learning different maneuvers. And, there's always something that we're working towards. So that, for that to happen, all of that in one day, it requires a significant amount of energy. Where am I going to pull that from? It doesn't just happen. Okay, that's what you have to understand. It doesn't just happen. You have to be intentional in your sleep, your recovery, your movement, and how you fuel yourself. And one of the later on in my podcast, I'm going to talk about what food looks like. Okay, what that looks like from a macronutrient standpoint, what it looks like from a micronutrient standpoint. You know, we all understand our macros, our carbs, our fats, our proteins, but we really don't understand we got a little bit of an idea of the vitamin component. But as far as enzymes are concerned and minerals and how that comes into play, most people have no clue. And it's so vital that we have those minerals and nutrients in place. I mean, it's things like copper, selenium, retinol. Retinol is in over 1,000 enzymatic processes in your body. Okay, your body is the whole design of every cell in your body is to make energy. The only way that it can make energy is if it has the right nutrients. If it doesn't have the right nutrients, it's going to continue to try to make the energy, but it's going to do it at the expense of something in your body. Like we talked about, it's either going to pull those nutrients from your muscles or from your bones, okay? And you're going to run out of material. And that's how the degeneration process and the disease process sets in, is we don't no longer have those ingredients that we need, the critical nutrients that we need to produce the correct amount of energy. And so we break down, and that's early stages is things like fatigue or brain fog. Okay. Later stages is like chronic pain and soreness and inflammation leading to more disease. So I can't emphasize enough. And, that's one of the things on the Dr. Fit Jen show. We're going to talk about not just movement, but nutrition. So hang tight with me as we go along in this journey. That's something that's near and dear to my heart, because I want everybody to be able to experience a full out life. And I'm going to walk you through the steps of what we need to do to be able to do that in a nutrition setting. So, trust me, it is not just eat salads and it's not just eat less. There are times to eat less, but there's times to fuel more. Okay. So, we'll talk about that. Eating salads is one of the fastest ways to, hate eating and not have any energy. So we'll get there. Okay. So number 5, then that leads me to number 5, which is follow the plan. Okay. Plan out your day, plan out your week, plan out your year. This is, I'm also going to get to this because this isn't just something that happens on a whim. The easiest thing is, you can plan out your day probably the night before so that you can follow it. But everything, again, should have intention. It has intention towards, okay, well, my day is based on my week, is based on the goals that I have for that week, based on the goals that I have for the month, that are based on the goals that I have for the year, that reflect my overall dream desires for my life that God has put into my heart. Okay. That's what a plan looks like. It is with intention. Every day counts. Every counts. It's the difference of waking up 5 years from now in the exact same place or in a place that you don't want to be, or waking up 5 years from now fulfilling your dreams. Okay. So we're going to go through that. I don't remember what our next topic is, but I got some really great people I'm going to be bringing on and talk about how they were able to achieve that, what the process looks like when we go through our dreams, our goals, how fitness and fueling are an integral part of that. You can't substitute. You can't omit one of those if you really want to reach fulfillment. Okay. I meet a lot of people in life. They're very successful business people, but maybe they're not fulfilled in their family life, or they're very, I wish I had, their family life, but they're not successful in their business, or they're struggling, financially. or they've got the business, they got the family, but their health is nowhere where it should be. So then they're spending their finances on sick care. So it's all of it. It's faith, finances, it's family, it's all of it. So every topic, we're going to touch on each of that because I want you to be whole. Okay. And that is how God has designed you and his plan for you, plans of a hope and plans of a future. So, okay. I think we're done with today. I hope that those hacks are integrated as a part of your life. Okay. Hope you wrote them down. Start with just one. Just start doing it. It may not be perfect, but start doing it. Write it down. Okay. Love you all and see you in the pain cave next time.
Fuel, work, grow. That's your call to action. You can follow me on Instagram at drfitjen. That's dr.fitjen, all lowercase, as well as ruggedathlete.us.